What you're about to witness could be the most important health revelation we've ever broadcast. Jonathan Otto just returned from high-level meetings with Senator Rand Paul and Ted Cruz's office in Washington, D.C., where he's still with America's Frontline doctors on their 5-year anniversary. But what he's about to reveal goes beyond politics. It's about technology that sounds like science fiction, but is sitting in my own home right now. You see, when my wife was diagnosed with a serious condition, we turned to something Jonathan had shown us. Now, her words still give me chills. She said, "I could feel my body healing each time I used it. It's been a blessing." Now she uses it every single day, 20 minutes, that transformed her life. And what we discovered is that the mythical MedBed technology that everyone's waiting for already exists. It's just not what you think. Now, Jonathan's about to show you clinical proof that red light therapy and PEMF technology demonstrate every single characteristic promised by MedBeds, and you can have it in your home today. Jonathan Otto, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Gary. I appreciate it.
Now, Jonathan, you just met with Senators Paul and Cruz about medical freedom, and how does that connect to this MedBed revelation that you're about to share? I mean, why were you meeting with these guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you for the introduction. Summing up that groups like America's Frontline Doctors have been doing a lot. And so they had an anniversary let's see, today's Tuesday. It was on Sunday, so 2 days ago. And so then, we just took advantage of knocking on doors and pre-scheduling meetings with some of these individuals. And so I was just in for the meeting with RFK this morning, hence why, you got to have all your passes and all the background checks, etc. But it was seeking to have these individuals help us support the bills that allow doctors to practice without being persecuted and not being mandated certain treatments that we've all been very concerned about, and helping them hold them accountable to what they promised us they would do for us. So that was a large part of that. But in terms of the technology, a lot of these individuals do have an awareness of all the suffering. I mean, the whole concept of to make America healthy again is all about recognizing there's a big problem. And so this is the right group of people, or the right, arguably, hopefully, by God's grace, the right movement that would take these types of technologies to the public so that people can get them. And it does then match some of these concepts around MedBed. And it's not just everyone waiting for it to happen. What if the technology already exists? But then in terms of the advocacy getting into homes, I've actually been looking to do public service announcements just so that people can know about it. And so this is basically like a public service announcement saying, hey, look, consider the fact that based on what we're finding, it's arrived and there's ways to do it.
Well, I want to thank you personally for sending that device to my home, because it has actually changed my wife's life completely. After our trip to the NATO summit, and the foods she was eating, the European foods, aggravated her. I mean, she was in the hospital on multiple occasions, consulting with multiple doctors, holistic medicine people, and holistic practitioners, I should say. And then, of course, she incorporated your red light that you sent to my house. And I'm actually shocked at the size of the thing. I've shown it to people and they're impressed, because what you sent was literally med spa level device. And it's changed my wife's life. I have my wife back. Let's just put it that way. So I just want to thank you for that.
Man, that is so beautiful. That touches me, it really does. It's the most rewarding part of my work by far, and it's kind of really the only reason I do it.
This is not an over exaggeration. It was a debilitating condition, and my wife's back to normal. So let's talk about this MedBed that you're about to share, and the elephant in the room. This technology already exists, and what is the MedBed? And you have a chart you also want to share.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So what I will acknowledge is that some will say, hey, look, Jonathan, MedBed technology is using certain kind of out of this world technology, like alien technology, and it's going to fit this criteria. And so I don't mind the debate, and I'm not even here to say that this is necessary. it's hard to basically ascertain exactly what, many different theories that are going on that you can't quantify. But the real examples of what we're seeing is that you have to look at the criteria of something that has to match the Earth's frequencies and the way the body resonates. It can't be something that's completely foreign that the body doesn't recognize. It has to be within things that exist. And if you believe in God, it has to be within the frequencies of nature. Otherwise, it's really, how is it going to interface with something that has no relation to the things that are supposedly the solution? And so what I'll show you with the results and how fast the healing can be, like for example, I'll go there into like pulse electromagnetic field therapy, which is an amazing partner. So what I'll present is that the combination of PEMF and red light, both of them working individually and then working together also. So they, like your wife, for example, she only used red light. And so we'll talk about that and talk about some of the studies on that. And then others have only used PEMF and they've had just extraordinary benefit. And so I'll show you the studies on that. And then others have used them both in combination, as well as far infrared sauna therapy. And so these are the therapies that really match the criteria. Even if you put it into AI search mechanisms like ChatGPT, and you'll say what is MedBed technology, and it will say the thing that best fits this definition by scouring the whole internet, and it says is PMF and red light therapy. But so chronic pain relief is
real quick. What I do want to tell you that
yeah.
as I was when I walked in the house and I told her I had just spoken to you about this, and you mentioned the MedBed on the phone. And I said, Angie, you're not going to believe this, but I'm about to talk to Jonathan Otto, who sent us the red light, but he has this thing called the MedBed, and we have one of those mats, and like it just didn't dawn on us that you could actually use them together at the same time for like just ultra amplified healing. So let's continue. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to tell you, she was blown away. She's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's really great. And so you'll see once I put both of these sets of studies together, you'll see, okay, this actually matches the criteria, which is really cool. And by the way, I'm really not trying to be hypey. I'm just showing really basic science of the things that we can ascertain, the things that we can prove. And by the way, like there are beds that do exist, and you could look it up, Gary. I could show it. You could look up the Amortal bed. Amortal, not immortal. And so it is the combination of PMF and red light over the top. And it's close to $200,000. So, hence why, but it's the same, right? So, which is really cool.
And
so
I
anyway.
do want to point out that if people just want to jump into it right away, there's links in the description. You can get all the information that you need. So continue, please.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. So PMF, the reason why it's working, it's reducing pain by improving cellular energy. It's calming overactive nerve signals, and then cellular level inflammation reduction. It's lowering inflammation. So many doctors are talking about inflammation being the big cause, and it's not the cause. The cause is the toxins that then create the inflammation, but it's going to deal with both of those, the inflammation and the core drivers behind it. And it does this through blood flow and improving this and oxygenation. And so what you'll find is that oxygen therapies are really the holy grail, because your body needs oxygen. Your cells need oxygen. And more than anything else, like think about food, think about water, now think about oxygen. Which one does it need in greatest priority? And so the fact that you're breathing as frequently as you are, and you cannot live without breathing for any more than a couple of minutes, shows you how critical this is, not just for your health, like not just to stay alive, but for your cells to thrive. And so then it goes into supporting cancer and autoimmune recovery. So PMF enhances immune function, tissue repair, detoxification processes, and it supports recovery alongside conventional treatments if people are doing those. Not that it would be my preference. It's building bone density, rebuilding, and then it's also working within fracture healing at astronomical rates. And we'll look at some of the studies on this, and that's one of the things that people really think about when they think about med beds, if something could regenerate and help your body heal. And I would say that it doesn't heal your bones, and it doesn't heal your fractures. Nothing does that. The only thing that does that is your body. Your body does it, but your body does it and doesn't do it when it's supported and not supported. So if you support your body with the frequencies that it operates within, then it will speed up all of these processes, and bone density becomes an issue for all people. And considering that stem cells are generated inside your bones, then you really want strong bones. You want the strongest bones, and so it's boosting calcium absorption, and it's building, stimulating bone forming cells, and it's helping to rebuild bone density and it's speeding up fracture healing. It's neutralizing harmful EMF exposures, and so this is what's causing all this fatigue, and then all these degenerative diseases that come as a result of EMS. But it's actually recorrecting that. It's overriding the signal. It's the correct signal. EMF is an incorrect signal that's pulsating and going through your whole body. You're putting the correct signal through the body, and you're overriding it, rewriting that frequency within the body, and now everything heals and regenerates. And then it's enhancing sleep quality and relaxation. And it's calming the nervous system, balancing circadian rhythm. PEMF is also promoting deeper and more restorative sleep and relaxation. So here you've got, so reducing inflammation, improving circulation, improving and modulating pain signals. And that's why people are getting relief from pain. In this study from 2020, 70% of the participants significantly reduced their chronic pain. That was just the one therapy. I'm not even talking about combining that with light or with any other, supplementation or etc. Yeah, so you'll see all the categories: decreasing oxidative stress, stimulating mitochondrial activity.
So this is all
boosting.
happening. This is all happening at the cellular level when someone uses this technology daily.
Correct. Absolutely.
So basically, my wife's body was rebalancing.
Exactly. Yes. And that's what was causing an acceleration in all the healing processes. So her body healed itself. Nobody healed her. No tool healed her. Her body healed itself, but we supported her body in its self-healing ability. And that's, God gets the credit.
Amen. Amen to that. Wow. Okay. So you've got FDA cleared studies proving 200% faster wound healing and 80% pain reduction. So why isn't every hospital using this?
Yeah. Well, thankfully, the mainstream medicine is showing this. It's in the studies, and I'll keep showing the clinical studies on this. But why not? Well, it's still not standard of care in most places, even though it will be in some of the most progressive, even mainstream clinics will have it, but most people still aren't getting access to it. And that's just because we're still going for the drug intensive treatments, and that's a problem within the system. The incentive isn't there, and that's the problem. Yeah,
because it solves the problems that they want you to stay sick with. The PEMF technology you're revealing, how does it get and restore like cell membrane potential, trigger the regeneration? I mean, give us the science like in very simple terms.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's improving the cellular membrane function. So you see some of this here, and so that's everything from better nutrient absorption. So you're trying to get nutrients out of the food you're eating and the water you're drinking. So it's increasing that absorption, and then it's causing a heightened ability for the body to remove toxins. And so that's a detoxification process that your body is naturally doing, but you're supporting that. And then it's enhancing the circulation and oxygen delivery, and that's microcirculation that it's boosting. And then it's increasing the oxygen and nutrient flow to tissues. And so then that has its own process. And then it's reducing pro-inflammatory cytokines. So you could see some of the TNF alpha and some of the others, and that's helping to calm the chronic inflammatory processes. And then the mitochondrial function is really the key to the holy grail to healing, because that's how cells are generating energy. And if cells have energy, then they can perform all cellular functions. So diseases thrive in low energy environments when the cells are at low energy, and that's the reason why you'll see the studies that are about to show in cancer, because cancer cells, cancer stem cells, tumor cells, they're all lacking energy. And so once you switch that over to a high energy environment, then you're supporting the way the body can then make these cells normal cells, which is really what you want to think about.
So, standing with America's frontline doctors, you've seen medical censorship firsthand. Who's suppressing frequency-based healing and why?
Yeah. So big pharma, like if you look at like red light is frequency healing, and that's what your wife used. And the awesome thing here is as well, she did do some things where she got off caffeine, because we had a conversation on that. She got off caffeine. She did some, or she also did some supplements that helped to heal her gut and these types of things. And so I'm all in support of that. And but now red light was the only thing that you listed that she did that was regenerative. And the therapy, or the clinical studies that happened all the way back like 120 years ago, I'm talking in 1903, when Niels Ryberg Finson won the Nobel Prize for light therapy reversing chronic disease, including especially this disease called lupus vulgaris. It just meant that it was a threat to the industry. And so then what happened was we just saw this uptake in all of the drug-based therapies, and then nothing else was getting publicity. And the system, which was under Rockefeller and Carnegie, they were showering
Say no
these
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were showering money on the clinics and the treatments that were drug intensive, and then everything else. Not only did it get defunded, and it also got attacked, and so that the system is so far from having these as the mainstay that most doctors don't know about it. So I spent a lot of time educating all of the frontline doctors on these therapies, and I can tell you that unfortunately most of them weren't actually very aware of these therapies. That's how far removed we are from
It
that. I
makes
don't
me,
mind saying that.
Jonathan, it makes me so angry when I hear stories of how different technologies have been suppressed that could help humanity. And it's because these people just want to get richer and richer and richer. And the richer they get, the more they suppress other technologies, and it just completely screws up the entire world. And thankfully, right now, I believe we're in the middle of an absolute reawakening. I mean, I remember 20 years ago when I would bring up stevia and I would get mocked. And now it's like on every grocery store, like when I would just attack aspartame and say, you guys shouldn't be taking this stuff and shouldn't be drinking Diet Coke with that stuff in it. And I would just get laughed. And now I have people coming to me, and that's all they're doing is they're using these purified, extracts for sweeteners that are healthier for you. And it's just, it makes me so angry. But I'm happy that this is all coming to light now, literally light, and having you on to share these types of protocols is going to change people's lives. So walk us through some of these specific protocols. Okay, we got the red light wavelengths, PEMF frequencies, treatment times. Like, how does the protocol work?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the studies all show that as little as 20 minutes twice a week can just revolutionize health. And whether it's a study on thyroid health with chronic autoimmune thyroiditis, by the way, your wife could have had clinical, subclinical hypothyroidism, right? So hypothyroidism, and the clinical studies specifically on thyroid health was showing that if they did it just for 5 weeks, half the group that were chronic autoimmune thyroiditis that were all relying on LT4 supplementation through a drug called Synthroid or levothyroxine, they didn't need to take it anymore. Half the group, 47% specifically, just after 5 weeks. And I'm not even talking about people doing this then for the next 6 months and staying on it. And this was a 9-month follow-up as well. So it meant that even just that 5 weeks of exposure meant that all these folks, women in this case, were able to have their thyroid naturally produce thyroid hormone,
Wow.
which is LT4, and the whole group had a significant decrease in their need for it at all. So it could be as little as 20 minutes twice a week, or as much as 30 minutes twice a day. And people should just do whatever works for them. If you get a minute of exposure to light per day, clinical studies were showing that Birmingham University showed that it boosted the cell viability by 45%, meaning that cells were 40 45% more effective. And that can be the difference between disease and wellness, by a single minute of exposure, which everyone, if you don't have a minute, then you're not serious. And then, and so that's not PMF now. Now PMF, you could do
Well,
that
let me just
as little as 30,
let me just
30 minutes a couple times a week. Yeah.
let me just back up for a second
Go ahead.
because she was doing it like 20 minutes every day. Now I would be
Which is
doing it.
ideal.
I would be doing it like maybe 20 or even 30 minutes, maybe once, twice a week.
Mhm.
So those are still okay frequencies to do it.
Yes, exactly. And like, these studies are often very poorly conducted in the sense that they are not using it as much as it could be used for regenerative capacities, but yet they still are putting these conditions in remission. And so you've got to just do what works for you in your schedule and what will just allow you to have some kind of regularity, even if it's once a week. But if you're like really serious, then doing it every day is amazing for both of these therapies, whether it's PMF on its own or whether it's red light on its own. And that's why people just have to self-select and just say, hey, look, here's the one I'm going to start with, or bam, I'm going into this. I'm going to get both of these devices. I'm going to get under one, on top of one, like a mat. And so we'll share some examples. And then I'm going to get under one, which would be the light panel. So you could do them at the same time. You can do them in separation from each other. There's no rules in the sense that everything is good. It's like you could be in the sun, you could be grounded at the same time, or you could just be in the sun. And these are good ways to so for anyone that's watching this and you're just simply getting the concept of it, get out into the sun, get the sunrise, get the sunset, get your feet on the ground directly. And these are examples of what this technology does. The reason why the devices are so profound and why we're seeing like such a dramatic rate at which conditions are going in remission is because we're harnessing the power of the sun and the Earth's frequencies, but we're 10xing it. Imagine if you could 10x the healing potential of the sun without the downsides. What's the number one way to heal from sun damage? Red light therapy. So you can heal from the damage that you may have had from the sun, maybe because you've been eating a lot of seed oils, from light therapy, and you can repair your body from the damage of EMFs from a PMF device, as an example. So you're just accelerating what you would naturally find in nature.
Jonathan, hearing this combination, right? This 1-2 punch using the PEMF mat and then adding the red light on top of it, like, I didn't think about it because we have the mat and now we have the red light. And like I said, when I told my wife, she's like, oh, yes. She's like, that is like, that. If you're going to be laying there anyway, why not lay on the mat? Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I would show my viewers the picture of me, laying with the red light, but I don't think they want to see, Gary in his birthday suit, all lit up. But what I did find was very comforting was the warmth. I wasn't expecting it. I was just expecting red light, but there was a warmth that came through. What was causing that?
Yeah, so the warmth is interesting considering that light that you're using is attempting to put almost all the energy into light and only about 10% into the heat. So about 90% goes into the light, 10% into the heat. That heat that you're feeling is a result of the near infrared and red lights that are emitting a small form of heat because it's a light emitting diode technology, which is LED. But now LEDs are often harmful because they have high flicker rates. These LEDs don't have any flicker. And so because of that, you're getting a high quality LED. The studies done on light therapy is lasers and LEDs is actually, it's amazing because it's outperforming the lasers in many settings, and it's about 20 times less the cost. So you're able to get that, and you can do it from home versus having to go to a clinic and then spot treat versus get it over all your critical organs. So you want it over your heart, you want it over your kidneys, over your liver, you want it over your brain, over your eyes. By the way, the clinical studies on eyesight were showing that a single minute of 3 minutes of with the eyes open improve the eyesight by 17% immediately within the same day.
Okay.
So
all right.
These are cool, right?
All right. So this was the question that we had, and I'm so glad I'm talking to you. because it came with a set of glasses, and I got under it one day, and my wife's like, "Put the glasses on," and then I remembered what you had said about how it helps with the eyes. So do I need to wear the glasses all the time, or is it only certain times? How do I get the full impact of the light into the eyes? Because I wear glasses and I can feel my eyesight getting worse.
Yeah, exactly. So you could dramatically improve your eyesight by using this without the glasses. Even with the glasses, you'll still get benefits. This was a clinical study here showing it was an immediate 17% improvement in eyesight. So you'll see it there in the fine print. But this was specifically when people had their eyes open for 3 minutes, and it had to be the morning for it to have this level of benefit. And this was
Really?
color contrast vision. And so those goggles or glasses are there simply because it's just what we're supposed to do. And the clinical studies here are showing 3 minutes with the eyes open. So if you want to be conservative, open your eyes for 3 minutes and then close them or put the goggles on, right? So, or you could be like Gary Brecker and I, he's a friend of mine, but we've got our eyes open the whole time. I'm not saying that you should do that, but we have never seen anyone have adverse effects. There's been 100
Okay.
million patients that have done red light therapy. There's been no reports of adverse effects, which is fascinating. And there's about 80 studies coming out every month. So it is really fascinating. And the reason why it's working for this is due to cytochrome C oxidase and nitric oxide signaling. And that's the reason why all these different conditions are improving, because of these pathways that are in the electron transport chain that cause the cells to breathe. It's called cellular respiration. So, yeah.
Okay. So now you've alleviated my fears because when you go into like a tanning booth, you have to put the glasses on. So my wife was adamant about putting the glasses on, and I remembered our interview where you brought up the eyesight thing. So that I'm glad you cleared that up. Thank you. So please. Oh wow. What's this we're seeing?
Well, that's an example of an inflammation of the eye, the conjunctiva, and this is where two treatments in this setting restored the cellular function here. So you see his eye before and after, and this was caused by none other than the intervention that came out over the last few years. This is most likely this gentleman, as he's wearing this apparatus over his face, he's probably taken the thing that most people took, and that may have been the reason why he got that, which could have happened by catching that said
Thing. Yeah.
thing, yeah, or it could have been because he had that put into him. And in either setting, what we're seeing complete reversals of these symptoms. There was a study from the European Society of Medicine that had 62 participants. All of them got better. All of them,
Amazing.
62 out of 62 after 4 sessions within a single week. 60 of them recovered within the single week. And then the other 2 got better the following weeks. And it was a total resolution of every symptom connected to that thing that everyone, got either got or got put into them, or, so. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question now. My wife combines the red light therapy with lemon water and walking. So
Nice.
how do these natural protocols amplify the technology's effects?
Yes, absolutely. So, they do. Like, is anything that you're putting in then is going to be enhanced. So whether you're taking like anti-parasitic medication, like the big hitters that people are taking today, or taking natural versions of these, the studies on anti-parasitic and approaches and light therapy are profound. PEMF and light therapy. Or PEMF on itself to kill parasites is profound. The studies are there for these. Like lemon water is an example of switching the body to an alkaline state. These are good things to do. Lemon water is great. You don't want to drink it all through the day because it could be damaging for the teeth. But taking lemon water first thing in the morning, great. Hydrating, hydrogen water. These are all types of therapies. I'll just say the acronym CDS. Charlie Derrick Sam, CDS. For those that want to look that up, look up books like Achieved Health and Forbidden Health. I can't say everything in detail on that, but look those resources up. People are getting complete remission of the big C word. That's as much as I can say with that. But combine these therapies and you could see the profound healing benefits. Methylene blue is getting publicity as well. When you take methylene blue in combination with red light, it's causing apoptosis of those big C cells.
Wow.
At such a profound rate, some studies showing 90% reduction in and more in the tumors as a result of using those in combination. So I'm flashing up some of these things. People can screenshot, pause the video, that type of thing. But we want people to know that these are therapies that go together so perfectly in combination, and hence why we're seeing such dramatic results. There's a study there on asthenozoospermia, men that cannot fall pregnant, and so it's on them or it's on the woman in both settings, whether it's the woman or the man. By the way, one device in the home will help the woman's health. Fertility studies were fascinating with women, very effective, extraordinarily effective. And then men doing it. So this is important for the future generation. People know about this, and they're often doing it for these anti-aging benefits. So the fine line wrinkles, us looking older than what we should, it's turbo aging. It's a disease in and of itself, and so we're seeing all those things turn around, which is a nice side benefit.
It says right there, decreasing crow's feet wrinkles observed in subject number 11 after 84 days.
Yep. Yeah, she looks a lot better.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. And whether it's hair loss, because it's stimulating the hair follicles to cause new healthy hair to grow. So it's activating stem cells in the hair follicles. So the same thing that's helping your organs regenerate, your liver, your kidneys regenerate, is helping to restore your hair. Thankfully, I don't have a single gray hair. I can't find any. It just helps, right? And I've got baldness on both sides of the family. So, and I'm 41. I could be losing hair, have gray hairs, but I don't. And I didn't care about it. Right? What did I care about? Being healthy. I cared about that. And so I got this other thing as a side benefit, which is awesome. And obviously, and then I do care, but it wasn't my primary focus. So yeah, great studies, as I mentioned, on parasites. These are a big deal. And as I mentioned, even glioblastomas, which it's priming the immune system so that it can go target the unhealthy brain cells, these senescent cells, whether they're in whichever organ they're in, and you're able to then turn around these conditions that were typically understood as impossible. With a 9-month survival rate for glioblastoma, the light therapies are giving hope and excellent results to people fighting this terminal condition. And even with melanomas, that you would think that's one where maybe you shouldn't do it because it's related to the skin. It's understood to be in connection to the sun. Light therapy devices are emitting the light that's from the sun, but it's making this more healing to the body. There's the before and after on a cutaneous B-cell lymphoma after 2 sessions, and that's on PubMed. People that read these studies recognize the font and how the journal formats. And yeah, that's pretty impressive. This was a complete resolution, a complete response. In figure 1, you see underneath it, in a patient with this cutaneous lymphoma. And it's using something. This is a methyl form of aminoleuvolinic acid. It's similar to its approach for methylene blue. If people are using that in combination, you take it about 30 to 60 minutes before you get in front of the light. This was the study that showed a complete resolution in all the participants. It was a pilot study, but all 3 go into complete remission at a 1-week interval. And it says specifically that all treated patients had a complete remission, defined as a clinical and histologic complete absence of cutaneous B-cell lymphoma after a maximum of 2 photodynamic therapy sessions at a 1-week interval. Unheard of results. And then no side effects, no pain from the PDT sessions. And the pain that they were having from the cutaneous lymphoma was managed through the photodynamic therapy.
Which study is this you're looking at?
Let's see. Can you see it?
I can see it, but what's the name of the study?
Yeah, sure. You just look up cutaneous B-cell lymphoma, red light therapy, 630 nanometer, and that'll give you the keywords to find the exact study.
Wow.
It gives all the parameters.
So you've curated specific devices at myredlight.com and mypemfmat.com. So what makes these BedMed like level compared to others?
Yeah, sure. So, MedBed, right? So what we did with our light therapy devices was we put 9 of the most proven wavelengths into the device, right? So I'll show you what that looks like.
And I think we need to show the mat too. Do you have that
Yeah, yeah.
available?
Absolutely, I'll show that, and I'll show you these wavelengths, right? So these were some of the heavily proven wavelengths, and so we put all 9 of the most proven wavelengths. So most devices have 2, just red and near infrared, just 660 and 850, but all these different wavelengths are proven for different conditions, and more importantly that you have it's different depths in the body. As you can see, the epidermis, dermis, subcutaneous tissue, muscle, bone, interior tissues, they get to shallower and deeper regions in the body, but everything is important. And it's part of the reason why the 660 was the one that was able to drop the cell proliferation of the triple negative and non-triple negative breast C word cells by 40% in 24 hours. So that was the wavelength that was important for that. But if it's eyesight, then it's 660, 670, which is in our device, 850, 1060, all improving eyesight. All those wavelengths, you'll find them effective for hair follicle, for skin health.
So what I'm looking at here at this chart, I see that little blue light that's coming down.
Yeah.
And when I was under it, I remember seeing a gentle blue into that. So that's what I was seeing, the 480.
Exactly. Yes. And blue light has a lot of confusion around it, because people think that it's universally bad. But if it was bad, then why would God give us a rainbow? Why would he give us a blue sky, which is showing that the sun is emitting blue light during the day? And why is it so effective for prenatal prenatal care, like when babies are in the womb? Why is it effective for skin health and skin rejuvenation? Well, it's because it's whether the light flickers. So if it's a blue light and it's flickering, even if it's a red light and it's flickering, it's going to be harmful. Imagine being in a room when the light's turned on and off. It does damage, right? But if it's consistent, it's helpful, it's healing. And 480 was the best on depression. So you want blue light, but you just want it from a high quality source. But a little goes a long way, and that's why you saw only a few of those have the blue. So it's just
I put on all frequencies when I do it. And you bring up the prenatal, like Billy Rubin is, I think that was the Billy Rubin score. And then don't they put the babies underneath a light for that?
Yeah, true. Exactly. And so these are examples, and that's why studies have been done with babies in the womb and babies outside the womb, and found that it's effective and helpful and healing for them. And so then that should take away people's concerns that it might be a problem for them, considering it's been tested and proven not only in babies but in pregnant women while the babies are in the womb. And then to answer your question, look at these wavelengths proven for all these conditions: weight loss, fat burning, cellulite reduction, metabolism. It's working on all of these things at the same time: anti-aging, acne, scars, rosacea, hair growth, sun damage, wrinkles, under eye circles, droopy eyelids, all the things that people care about: wound healing, injury healing, oral health, how much people spending on their mouth, and their gums receding. Whereas you want to get light over the gums. Open your mouth if you can in front of it, which is not hard to do. Let the light go in there and even if your mouth is closed, it's still going to get through. But the closer the better. About 3 inches away is ideal, and then getting it to the areas that are affected. But all the things to do with cognitive performance and muscle building. Muscle building is important, but look at the studies on MS and on tinnitus and depression, anxiety, and asthma, liver function, the breast cancer studies, the stem cell regeneration, which is it's super expensive. Most people can't afford it, but most people that can afford it get it, but it doesn't work. And I just heard a lot of the doctors talk about that it didn't work. And the reason is because stem cells have mitochondria in the stem cell So the stem cell needs the energy. So you want to just take all the stem cells that you naturally have and let them do what they need to do by stimulating them with light and producing
Okay.
more stem cells.
So here's a question for you. You sent me a belt that
Yeah.
has red light on it.
Yep.
Now, we actually brought that on a vacation with us.
Nice.
And I remember I wasn't feeling well. And my wife's like, well, just put this underneath your back, and just rest for a while. And so I did that. Now, my question is, if it's just on my back, am I treating a specific area, or does it have sort of a whole body approach because the blood is moving through the body and it's all getting, going through a circulatory system and it's getting exposed, or is it just affecting that region? Or do I want to put the belt on my back, on my stomach, on my chest, if I can't have access to the device the larger device you sent me?
Yeah, no, that's such a good point there, and you can make me and Gary full screen if possible. This is an example where if you are using a belt like this, and so you're able to then take this and you could put it on the affected areas. So what you were saying, and I like the way you think, Gary, you're smart. Your blood does circulate, and a lot of people don't think about that. So yes, you could take something like this and you could put it over the affected areas. And yes, it's going to be more direct to those specific areas if you're putting it directly over, like you've got a sore back. So put it on the area that is most affected. But will it land there and only stay there? No, it'll circulate through the body, because that's actually how chromophores work. It's how, think of light like triggering a domino effect in the body. And so it will circulate. There's a reason why even people are using just wrist devices that, mind you, you're better off with a belt that's going over larger surface areas of the body, and then by doing so, you're going to have this systemic effect while you're having a localized effect at the same time. If somebody's just using a belt like this, it is wise to then move it around a little, have it over the affected area, like have it over the belly to help the digestion, and have it over the groin, including the testicles, for helping with all the functions related to whether you're a male or a female, to the regenerative organs, over the knees, because your knees might, you might have some pain and want to repair some cartilage, to over the head. Like, it's a little creative, but you can, kind of put it anywhere if that's the device that you have.
Well,
and
let me
that's
just tell you, we went to Universal Studios, and being on my feet, going through that whole park, I mean, it beat me down. Like, I told the kids, I said, you guys go on, I'm going to hang back. And my wife's like, here, just lay on this and then meet us at the park later. It was like 3 days in a row at the parks. So it was pretty grueling. Now, let me ask you this. You mentioned bracelet or something like that. So you have a bracelet that let's say I want something sort of passive. And if I just wore a bracelet around my wrist that was emitting a red light, would that theoretically do the same thing, but on a smaller scale, but more consistently?
Yes. And we don't do those specifically because we're wanting to cover larger surface areas.
Right.
That would be the preference. And so, but yeah, if you had that, you'd still be getting it in the body, and it would be good. But I try to do everything the best, and so I want people to get the best results. And so yes, you can move it around the body, and then the key is as well with the panels is that you're able to get it over all the organs at the same time, and that's what you were doing. That's what your wife was doing. Yeah. And most people think of their issue as being localized. Like, if you've got XYZ autoimmune condition, then that's, you think, okay, well, that's just related to this or that organ. But it's,
well, I mean, I had my nieces over, I was showing them the device, and I'm like, here, just go try it out. Like, she was staying for a couple days. So she was constantly and she's like, oh yeah, I love red light. This is great. Oh my God, I can't believe this is here, and she was freaking out about it. So she did it too. I'm just blessed, to know you, to have your support, and to be able to share this with our viewers. Now, for someone suffering right now who's been told to wait for disclosure, of exotic technology, what can they actually do today, like right now?
Yes, absolutely. And that's such a good point, Gary. It's about getting started now. It's about taking, your health and healing into your own hands, and not waiting for something out there, when things are here right now, and which is great. So what people can do is they can start using these high quality products from the comfort of their home. And what we've done with the pulse electromagnetic field therapy devices, with the mats, and with the red light therapy devices, is make them available. And so we've got two links there in the description, which is mypmfmat.com, as well as myredlight.com. And so you can then choose anything from as small as a red light wrap, like this, like a belt, to a full body device that covers all your organs. And so by doing that, you're able to, enhance the surface area. And so these then become like the critical tools to use in your health. And so yeah, so you can. And we have, for example, on myredlight.com, we have packages that include the PMF mat. So it's all in there for people that are just wanting to get just the mat. As an example, we have that available at mypmfmat.com. And we have this sauna blanket that goes together really well with that. And we have a combo package there. People can
I
also,
draw the line at the sauna blanket. Nuh-uh, not for me.
yeah.
That was too claustrophobic for me.
That's funny, man. Yeah, exactly. Some people, people can self-select, which is great. But the upside in something like that is, it's, instead of costing like $5,000, $10,000, you're able to, have something that's just there. You could be in front of, where you're watching your favorite shows or podcasts in your living room, and be inside of a sauna blanket. And so, it's the treatment area, because you're right in front of it. It ends up becoming such an effective treatment. And so, red light and PMF, you could do at the same time. Sauna blanket, you do it on its own, because that's a heat therapy, and then you're kind of covering yourself inside of that. But then becomes extraordinarily affordable. I did some analysis on this, and I calculated what it cost to do the PMF over 10 years, and it was less than 30 cents for a treatment, and you would be paying like 50, 100, $150 if you per session. Uh,
Yeah, if you went into a med spa to do it, they would take you to the cleaners.
yeah, exactly. And this is using the same technology, and it's and you could see what we've done with that, and I can show you the detailed analysis of that, with how we've put together the technology in a way that it makes it effective, and so I'll show that. And so this here is an example on that. So and by the way, this was the study that I wanted to show just really briefly here on the cancer study on PMF. Showed specifically that researchers found that when breast cancers were exposed to low frequency PMF, it slowed their growth, triggered cell death, pushed them into a state called senescence, where the cells stop multiplying but don't die right away. Remarkably, normal healthy cells weren't just unaffected; they actually showed signs of improved health and increased growth. So these are the things that make these treatments so effective. So PMF treated cancer cells not only displaced cell death but also senescence. In contrast, normal fibroblasts were not affected by the possible harmful exposures of PMFs, but increased their cellular viability. Anyway, I wanted to show that. So amazing studies on that, because most people as well listening to this just simply want to prevent that, which you arguably can do based on these studies. And then the studies on autoimmune disease, which a lot of listeners are battling with, are profound, and you can see all the parameters and why it's working so well for autoimmune disease. Like the fibromyalgia cases are amazing, and like they get the treatment, and then the treatment lasts for 12 weeks, which means that it's structural changes, it's lasting changes. And when you have it in your home, then you don't have to keep going into relapse, because you keep getting bombarded with these harmful frequencies, and you don't have what your body's needing. You can just keep these frequencies in your body, and hence why you end up in these helpful and profound states of healing continually. And then there's the bone healing studies there. But I'll show you here again. You're neutralizing harmful EMFs. A lot of people here know about that and why that's such a big issue.
And this is specifically on the mat side of this conversation.
Yep.
Okay,
correct.
Just so we're clear for people who may get lost in all the language.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you'll see all the parameters here. Oh yeah, that's all the PEMF mat, and then there's the infrared sauna benefits there of how it's promoting bone health and EMF balance, and it's also supporting cancer and autoimmune recovery. And this regular infrared sauna use has been linked to a 63% lower risk of sudden cardiac death. Which is amazing. That's my granddad died when I was 1 due to that condition. So you'll see a reduction in diseases of all cause, death from diseases of all types from far infrared sauna, which is exactly what that category is, and here's where it supports autoimmune conditions. But I'll come to this. And then again, far infrared supporting cancer recovery, the clinical studies there, and then far infrared for supporting DNA and cellular damage and repair from these. So here's what we did with the mat. We stacked in all the different important layers, so you see that it's a very sophisticated device, and so you can see all the different layers that are involved there to signal and transfer the frequencies that are in the earth, and it's this 1 to 30 hertz, which is the Schumann resonance. So it needs to be within these ranges, otherwise they're not effective. And here's what they do.
What's the function of the gemstones?
They help carry the frequencies. So the stones will actually help take that frequency and translate it and attenuate it, so you're getting it into the body. So it's a great partnering there. And then you've got this 150 millitesla strength, and that's important. So that's what we've done in the devices. So you need to look for these types of things when you're looking at this. And so you see that the group here in this study with the 150 millitesla strength, they got the benefits. The groups that are in studies without that certain spec mean that they can't necessarily activate the benefits that they may be reading of or finding out about in studies and presentations like this. But I'll come to that. So what we did is we've got the code NNN25, which activates a 25% discount on the sauna blanket, which is great. So you can read about the specs there, and then the PEMF mat. You've got the code NNN25 as well. Again, a 25% off discount. So again, it's super affordable. It covers the whole body. You lie down on it. Super simple. Use it for 20, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. You can use it before you go to bed. Deep, restful sleep. The studies all point to that. When you're sleeping well, you're regenerating. That's when you're doing all the healing. And then as well, you can activate the 30% off on the bundle, which is the sauna blanket with the PEMF mat. And so you're making a huge saving of close to $800 there. So a real game changer. So we made that available, and I'll show you as well. So you've got payment plans for those that want to break it up into 6, 12, 24 months. You could do that with with the platforms that we have there, even if you're international, with Afterpay as well as with PayPal. So that, pretty cool, right? So we're excited to share these breakthrough tools and give people back the healing that they're just longing for. That we all deserve this. We all deserve to get health and healing. And just finally showing you the devices for the light therapy. By the way, this prostate cancer study, this was a 400% increase in your ability to beat prostate cancer. This was published in Lancet Oncology. Imagine if you had a 3% better chance in beating it, that would be standard of care. Doctors would be treated like they were negligent by not recommending it or prescribing it to you. But a 400% increase, and it's still not standard of care, is crazy. And this was a 413 person study over 2 years, and half the group go into remission in the group with light therapy, only 13.5% in the control group. And this is even just with all the other conventional therapies. This is not stacking in PMF. This is not doing any other of the holistic therapies that I would say would give a much better outcome just with that. It's a game changer. And so showing you just what that looks like here in these devices, it's so you look at whether whichever device you're choosing, like you're getting all of these wavelengths. So you could see all the the competitors using just the two different wavelengths. Here we are from all the way from 480 up to 1060. Pretty profound. So the 670 was the one for the eye side. All the 800s are to do with bones and interior tissues and deeper into the muscle. And 1060, like that'll get to the deepest parts of the body. They'll all get through the brain, and very profound. But you just then choose a package. The power density is the number one thing to look for. We've got zero EMFs, and we're using dual LEDs that don't flicker. So you're getting a maximum coverage. Each light source has two lights coming out of it, which means that you've got a completely even coverage. Really great savings on the packages as well, as you'll see there on the page. And then the irradiance there, like 205 milliwatts per centimeter squared at 3 inches. So you can learn about all of that.
So how far should I have this thing away from me? Because it's about, it's a good distance away from me. Like, how close do I need to have it?
Yeah, sure. So you could be up against it, so your body is just practically touching it. Mind you, take the blue out in the evenings, because that's where you're not seeing any blue light in the evenings. So what you can do is just mimic nature in that way, and then and by doing that, you're able to you're replicating the powerful benefits you're seeing in nature by mimicking the sun. Getting light before you go to bed is going to make you sleep like a baby. Getting PEMF before you go to bed at night will make you sleep like a baby. And then but 3 inches is typically what we recommend, being about that far away.
It's funny you should say that, because my kids actually love turning on the mat, and they put the warmth on, the heat, and then it's totally on, and my kids just like lay on it, and then they just fall asleep. They fight over it. My kids do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's fantastic, man. And this is like a really good case in point. So you have a wife, you have children. If I'm just looking around the table here to see if I had a supplement to let's imagine this is a supplement here, and you would have to reorder this same supplement for you, your wife, for your children every month. And so one $50 supplement is going to cost you like $600 for the year, for the whole, a family of 4, which I am. Then I'm up at like $2,400, $2,500, whatever for the year. Over 10 years, I'm up at $25,000 for one supplement, which I've never seen a single supplement change anyone's life. I've never seen it, but I have seen red light therapy change people's lives, even in their mid-90s, getting eyesight back, getting rid of pain. Yeah. And so then it ends up costing nothing, right? And that was 10 years. You don't have anything at the end of 10 years. These devices are designed to last a lifetime. And so it's a 50,000 rated lifespan hours. So you do the math on that at 30 minutes a day. It's like 200 plus years. I don't think it'll necessarily, I don't think, who knows, but with a whole family using it, it's still designed to last a whole lifetime. So, and then think about how much you're spending in all the categories. So you're spending on your gut health supplements, your skin health supplements, your hair supplements, you just keep listing them out, your pain medications. So you're switching out that. So then there is no choice there because you're not spending money, you're only saving money. So once people think like this, they can get their lives back, they can get their health back. That's what I care about, Gary. That's what I'm so passionate about.
Jonathan, I want to thank you for sharing this, answering all my personal questions, but most importantly, sharing this with our viewers, because I want to see my viewers healthy. I want them to continue to be able to watch and take in the information that we have to present, and just become more educated about this. I have a lot of viewers who are over the age of 45, 55, 65 plus, and I think this really would help them. And I just want I encourage everybody to go to the links in the description and explore it for yourself. Watch this video again and take in all the information and investigate it, vet it, look for the studies. Like he said, he told you the keywords. Go back, find the keywords, search it up. and then hit the links in the description. And when you do that, you're supporting this network because Jonathan supports this network. It's a win-win for everybody, and not just for the network, but for your health. So, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us right now. I'm really sincerely.
Oh, Gary, it's a pleasure.
And for what you did for my wife. I cannot thank you enough because I finally have my wife back, and that's just a miracle. She was in bad shape, Jonathan. Going to the hospital, emergency room. She was, they were giving all these they were giving all these antibiotics, and then the antibiotics were having side effects. And she was having like shakes. The antibiotics were giving her shakes, and she had to go to the hospital back to ask them what's going on. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's the side effect of that. That's what it is." So her anxiety was getting worse. The shakes were happening because of the antibiotics. And what did they do? They just told her to finish the medication. And I'm like, where's the logic here? So she made some phone calls. A friend came over and introduced her to some other people. She had some great conversations, worked on her health, got under the red light on the regular, and like that, and it's just a miracle. So I just can't thank you enough.
Bro, that is so beautiful. Guys, it's so encouraging, so motivating. I fly over conservatives. Some of your followers might follow them, but they've had all the famous doctors on the show, and they said of everyone we've ever had on, by far, we've seen the most transformations with our audience, people writing to us of the life-changing results, and then their whole family. So yeah, David and Stacey Whitehead, their daughter Avery, and other family members all getting these tremendous results on these devices, and like getting their lives back. Getting, their daughter just got married; she's got a whole future ahead of her. And and this other one we saw her go to compete in the Boston Marathon after she was told that she'd never be able to run again. She could hardly get out of bed with Graves' disease. And 2.5 weeks later, she goes to compete in the Boston Marathon. A 92-year-old that got her eyesight back and no pain anymore from the chronic nerve pain that she was having. And so these are the lives that are getting transformed and changed as a result of this. So thank you, Gary. And as we wrap as well, so people are aware, when you're going through myredlight.com, use the code NNN, and that's activating that discount. If you're on the mypmfmat.com, then you use the code with NNN25 or NNN30 if you're getting the bundle together, just to make that clear so people don't get confused. And we'll just keep those discounts available for a little while here to just, but it has a shelf life. So, jump on board with that. And thank you again for having me, my friend.
Jonathan, thank you so much for your support of the show and for supporting the health of our viewers. So what Jonathan Otto has revealed today, it changes everything. MedBeds are not locked in secret facilities or waiting for disclosure. The technology exists right now in forms that you can actually use at home. Now, my wife's daily healing ritual proves it. The science proves it. The clinical studies prove it. And while Big Pharma profits from keeping you sick and dependent, frequency-based healing offers a path to cellular regeneration, pain elimination, and biological age reversal. Now, this is not fantasy. It's documented reality. It's being used in hospitals worldwide, just hidden from public awareness. Now, the revolution that Jonathan sparked by standing with frontline doctors continues today. And you don't need government permission to heal. You don't need to wait for mythical technology. Visit myredlight.com and mypemfmat.com using code NNN to access the same healing technology transforming lives in my own family. Okay? So the future of medicine isn't coming. It's here, and it's time that you claimed it.